We are joined now by Wei Shengji. He's Associate Professor from the Asian School of the Environment and Nanyang Technological University, and he is also Associate Chair of Research. Well, thanks for joining us this evening, Professor. First up, perhaps help our viewers understand, in such disaster situations, why are the first 72 hours so critical?
You know, that earthquakes can shake down those buildings or infrastructures. So when people are buried down in these rubbles, it is very pressing to rescue them as early as possible. You know that when 3 days pass, a person without food or water supply, the chances to survive is getting smaller and smaller.
That's right. I mean, survival rates on the ground affected. We're talking about, minus 16 degrees overnight, that sort of a temperature. I want to talk about those who are displaced, though, because President Xi has called for all-out effort to help them. At this point, we know that 3,600 homes are destroyed. So I imagine that rehousing those people will be a big challenge. But what are some of the immediate concerns to attend to?
I think at this time to rescue people from these breaking down rubbles is the most important thing. At the same time, the rescue team should also pay attention to the aftershocks. It's quite common that this kind of big earthquake going to be followed by certain amount of aftershocks. Some of the aftershocks could be quite strong and produce strong shaking as well. So rescuing people from these disaster-affected regions is critical at the moment. And after that, of course, building the new houses for people living there is the things to do in the following steps. But at the moment, it's the most important to rescue as many people as possible.
So, Professor, when you talk about these aftershocks being a concern, I mean, are we looking at possibly another earthquake or aftershock that could be a magnitude 5 or larger? I mean, is that a concern?
In general, when there's a magnitude 6 earthquake, it's going to be followed by a few magnitude 5 earthquakes. So it is quite common, based on the global observations, that this magnitude 7.1 earthquake based on the USGS report will be followed by a few magnitude 5 plus aftershocks. So these kind of aftershocks can still generate pretty strong shaking. So it's important to pay attention to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention that power and water in the region, that's an issue because it's difficult. It's difficult to reach that because of the roads, the infrastructure and all that have been disrupted. So how do you think authorities can sort of ensure that people have access to the most basic needs, like food, water, medical care, that sort of thing?
I think based on the message from the central government, as you can see that there's multiple rescue teams has been sent into the disaster region, the shaking affected region. I believe with the strong effort from the central government, they're going to do their best job to supply food, water, and other necessary materials to the disaster region.
Perhaps can you elaborate a little bit more about the area, because the entire plateau is seismically active, right? And that is an active region, isn't it?
Yes, we know that the Tibetan plateau has been uplifted because of the collision between the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. So as the plateau is getting higher and higher, is the gravity going to drag the internal of the plateau to extend horizontally. So this earthquake is caused by the horizontally extension stress loading rather than the collision. So this place, along with the other north-south oriented faults in southern part of Tibet, has experienced this type of earthquakes in the past. So from a scientific point of view, it is not surprised this earthquake take place there. But because this is a relatively remote area, the infrastructure quality, the monitoring of seismic events may not be as good as the other more populated area where denser network monitoring is available.
So you've mentioned that, I mean, obviously the priority now is rescue efforts, try and search for survivors beneath the rubble. We're still looking out for aftershocks. But In the meantime, after that, we're talking about rebuilding efforts. And just very quickly, Professor, I'm wondering what are some of the priorities for these authorities and architects to ensure that the new buildings can withstand future earthquakes?
Well, from hazard mitigation point of view, first of all, scientists and engineers should try to come out with a more accurate hazard map. With this kind of hazard map, for example, where are the location of active faults and how fast these faults are loaded, and then a kind of different kind of hazard zones can be divided, can be determined. And based on these kind of scientific facts or numbers, the building quality or building code can be designed accordingly. And if the buildings are built based on the hazard map, I think the chances that the people are going to be safer in the future events will be there.
All right. Well, it's been great talking to you. Thanks very much for your insights. Wei Shengji from Nanyang Technological University.